Very good morning to one and all. Today, I, Professor Ritika Madan from Amity Chandigarh, moderator of this session. I take this opportunity to welcome each one of you to yet another vibrant session of this week. With the blessings of Almighty, I pay my gratitude to respected Founder President Sir, Honorable Chancellor Sir, and our worthy Director Ma'am, Dr. Shivali Dhingra. The topic for today's webinar is Decoding Online Reputation Management, something we all have been reading about. Well, the global economy is undergoing a churn across all key markets, and India is no exception to this phenomena. With this in mind, it makes managing your online reputation more of a priority than ever, especially at a time when you literally cannot afford to lose any more revenue. One way we found that you can help your business less susceptible to downturn changes is to build and maintain your online reputation, which is your image on the internet. And one negative online product review can have a great impact on your product sales or business. Hence, it's imperative to effectively manage your reputation in this slowdown period, which will eventually improve or restore your name or your brand's good standing. On that note, please allow me to welcome our keynote speaker for the day, Mr. Vishesh Sharma, who is the head content marketing, corporate communication, and startups at Angel Broking. With over 13 years of diverse experience from a journalist at The Hindu to associate editor position at Progressive Media Group, featured editor at the Street Investment Journal, and then he moved to corporate communication and content marketing and held progressively senior roles at Atul Limited, Asymmetric Communications, and Sher Khan by BNP Paribas, before starting at the Angel Broking in 2019. And hence, he has cultivated a knack for innovation and leadership that allows him to drive growth in line with company objectives. He nurtures strong relationships and seamlessly leverage market analysis and strategic communications to tap into niche markets. We are extremely happy to welcome you, sir. I now pass over the virtual dice to you.
Thank you so much, Ritika, for the wonderful intro. Welcome everyone, whosoever is joining. Today is Ram Navami, so a very happy Ram Navami to all of you. And I'm very happy to be here. Sharing whatever information, knowledge I've gathered over the years. And before, okay, so let me start by. So, Ritika, I believe my screen is visible to all of you.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yes, it is.
perfect. So, guys, before we begin with the online reputation management, which I believe is a very vast concept and very relevant nowadays. Though I was very disappointed with Ritika mentioning only about the pandemic bit. So we only reminded of online reputation when in a need of crisis, when in a crisis. But you know, ORM per se is far bigger than just managing crisis. Just managing pandemics. Unfortunately, yes, over the years, that's how it's come to be known as, ORM only, is relevant to crisis. And that's probably why, I felt all the more, this topic, to be very important to talk to you guys about and clear out the myths, clear out the doubts and this misconception that, ORM is much more than just managing crisis. So yeah, won't I'll be keeping this entire presentation very crisp. Try to be more, bring on some real life examples which I have experienced over the years in my job, as well as people who are my peers, from whom I've learned over the years. So yeah, and before we move on to, I'll quickly like to take you. So we'll be entire presentation. We'll keep it crisp. A quick intro about the company. Angel Broking, which I represent today. Then we'll be moving on to decoding ORM. The entire piece would be in 5 Ws and 1 H. Which I'm sure a lot of you would be aware of. If not, today is the day for you to understand what's 5 W and 1 H also. Then we'll be taking some live case examples, which I picked out from Angel Broking, and then the question and answer session. So yeah, moving on to Angel Broking. Okay, so Angel Broking, works with a very one clear-cut agenda, and that is to navigate new age India to meet their financial dreams. Okay, launched about 30 years back. Angel Broking currently has 8 million app downloads, and we are a digital first broking house. We have been delivering record breaking numbers of late. We have 75% of our orders go through our mobile app. We have it just takes only 5 minutes to open an account with Angel Booking, and we are, I believe, one of the only companies, stockbroking houses in India, which have a very niche, very interesting kind of infrastructure in place. And our brokerage services, we have a very flat pricing structure, along with the services of a full service broking house. And we are right now India's fourth largest stockbroking house. These are some of our products which we have. So we believe that as a thought leader, you can't just sell; you have to empower, and especially now, it's all the more required, because a lot of our customers come from tier 2, tier 3 cities, which is where the need for education is. So we have launched a very interesting platform called Smart Money. So whosoever wants to start their stock market journey, they can go. There are very structured courses for you to learn from and understand stock market. These are certificate courses, pretty recently launched platform, and doing really well, especially in tier 2, tier 3 cities. Then we have our Angel Booking mobile app. In fact, for the tech savvies who are there right now present in the webinar, so we have recently launched a platform called Smart API. Now, Smart API, what it does is, it provides free open source APIs for you to create your own apps, your own trading charts, your own softwares. So right now, I'm very happy to share that we have about 10,000 plus registration for Smart API, and about 5,000 plus apps have been created from our platform so far. So any of you who are looking to start your own fintech company, please do visit Smart API. It's a very interesting platform. So yeah, moving on to the ORM piece. Okay. So like I said, ORM, there are a lot of myths associated with ORM. A lot of people think that ORM is basically when your company, your brand, your reputation is in crisis. That's when you need to do ORM. But no, that's not the case, and that's not the primary objective of ORM. See, if I go a little back and ask you to think of days, let's say 2008, 2009, or probably till about 2015, when the world was more of physical transaction, pre-COVID days basically. Now the entire thing is pre-COVID and post-COVID. So let's talk about pre-COVID days. A lot of physical infrastructure was in place, so your customers could interact with you a lot more. Physically, they can meet you, they can greet you, they can come to your offices, and you can build those kind of relationships with them. And those relationships basically ensured loyal customer bases also. So, for example, if I know that my bank, the manager is in very good relationship with me, obviously I wouldn't even, we talk about our parents, they don't even think about moving their account from one bank to another bank. For years they have their account. They take great pride in the fact that the account, my father used to have an account in this bank, I have an account in my son also has an account in this bank, those kind of things. So why and how these kind of relationships were built? Because we had a one-to-one connect. Now let's move to a scenario where everything is moving digital. You have an entire digital ecosystem in place. You don't need to go to a bank, you don't need to go to a travel agent to book your tickets, you don't need to go to a stockbroking branch physically to get some papers or anything. Everything is virtual. Now, since everything is virtual, so how do you connect with your customers? How do you ensure that there's a connect, there's a positive vibe with your customer, or not only with your customer, the prospective customers. Okay, that's where ORM, or online reputation management, comes into picture. Okay, so in short, if I have to say, ORM is nothing but you know uh, creating a personality for your brand. Okay, which signifies reliability, which signifies trust, and which signifies performance for your customers. Because if a customer can't trust you, he won't be very loyal to you. If a customer can't rely on you, he won't be loyal to you, he won't stick around with you. If a customer can't see performance being delivered by a brand, he'll never stick around. Which is why online reputation management becomes very, very crucial. Usually what happens is, when brand think of ORM, they think of okay, doing some social media creatives and other things. But ORM over the period of time has really evolved, and has become a very, very crucial piece for any brand which is digitally available, or digitally native brands. So yeah, ORM, like I said, is a very, very very evolved piece in today's context, when entire business ecosystem is moving to digital, when we live in an era of DIY, do it yourself. So in this kind of scenario, yes, ORM is not just about managing crisis, but building a relationship with your customers, building a loyalty factor with your customer, ensuring them of the performance, that yes, I'm the kind of brand who will perform, who will make sure all your aspirations are fulfilled, and I'm the brand you should be opting for, because a lot of people are talking about me. That's also one very, very important aspect of ORM, so which we'll be talking about in our later slides. So yeah, this is, in short, what is online reputation management. But it's nothing but managing a trust factor, building that trust factor. B, building that reliability for your brand, and C, the performance, ensuring your customer of the performance which you will be delivering. So there's a quick slide which I have prepared. Basically, so what when you think of ORM, like I said, a lot of brands feel that posting some creatives on social media is ORM, or doing something in a crisis situation is ORM. Like Ritika also introduced in the beginning that in pandemic, but no, that's not just ORM. ORM is much larger. So one of the pieces, earned media. Okay, what is earned media? Earned media is basically nothing but the kind of reputation you manage through media relations. Let's say for a brand like Angel Broking. Okay, we have to interact with the media. We have to ensure that a lot of articles, thought leadership articles, are published in the media. Those are the kind of things you take as part of media relations. Then you have blogger relations. Now I'm sure you, all of you, would be aware of how blogger outreach programs are becoming very important for any brand. Those are nothing but ensuring that your online reputation management is intact. Investor relations, influencer relations. Influencer relation, I would want to talk a bit more, since it's a very, very key activity nowadays. I'm sure a lot of you would have heard of term called influencer marketing. Okay, a lot of these celebrities which have come off late online, on Insta, you'll see someone having 1 million plus following, 2 million plus following. Similarly, you have on YouTube, subscriber base of 100,000, 1 million, 2 million. So these are the kind of players, these are the kind of personalities, channels who become your voice. Okay, of course, it's called earned media because there's a commercial transaction involved. You have to pay to them to get your message out. So yeah, this is the earned media. Now moving on to the shared media. Shared media is basically, one is influencer engagement. Again, influencer engagement is when you onboard influencers to basically, so suppose as part of your I'm sure a lot of business, all the businesses have their competition. Okay, and you want to be one notch above your competition. Okay, which is where you take help of influencer engagement programs. And see, influencer engagement, when I say, don't confuse, don't confuse it with influencer relation. Okay, so because influencer marketing and influencer engagement are two different things. Unfortunately, I can't spend a lot of time on this right now, but probably we'll have some other session on specifically for influencer engagement and influencer marketing. But influencer, when you take help of third party, the people, and regular general, and there's usually a commercial interest involved, that's when it's called influencer marketing. But when you do it via people who are loyal to your brand, let's say some of my customers posting on Zomato, giving me 5 ratings. Okay, saying talking about my brands, or let's say a customer for a company like Angel Broking. Okay, he has we have helped him achieve his financial goal, and he is very happy with our service, and we use his testimonials on social media, on third party social proofing platforms. So they become my influencers. Okay, and they also vouch for the brand, which helps in my online reputation, managing my online reputation. This is called influencer engagement. And these are the influencers who are, my loyal customers basically, and who I've served in a very, very rightful manner. And I have transformed some part of their life, which is why they are willing to vouch for my brand. Now, as part of shared media, we also have partnerships. Okay, partnerships, let's say a brand associating with a co-brand, co-branding services, charity times. Let's say ITC decides tomorrow to basically tie up with a brand to provide food for the migrant laborers who are moving to from cities to towns. Okay, so also, for example, a brand tie ups with another brand to basically drive a partnership to bring in some social change. Okay, so these are the kind of partnerships which get you a good positive word. Okay, it creates a positive vibe about your brand on digital. And these we consider as a very, very shared media kind of, where because there's another brand which is also getting the mileage. So while people are talking good about your brand, then there's another brand which is also sharing the mileage, which is why it's a shared media. It's called share media. Then of course you have for shared media, social media, which you talk about, Facebook of the world, and Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. These are the platforms where you go, you talk about your services. It's a very, very exposed media right now. Every brand, whenever they think of managing their online reputation, the first thing which comes to my anyone's mind is social media. So yeah, this is one aspect of your online reputation. Then you have own media. Okay, social media, we don't call it, though you may have a channel on Facebook and you would be compelled to call it your own media, but no, it's not your own media because the platform is owned by somebody else. Okay, probably you may have a page on Facebook, you may have a Twitter handle, you may have a LinkedIn account or a YouTube channel, but these platforms are owned by somebody else. So these are not your own media. So you won't call them own media. You will call them shared media. Okay. So I believe earned media and shared media are pretty clear to all of you. In case anybody has a question, query, doubt, please post it in chatbot. After this session, we'll respond to all your questions. And in case you want me to slow down on explaining the concept and revisit any concept, please let me know. Would be very happy to revisit any concept. So yeah, moving on to the own media. Okay, own media. So before I talk about own media, I would want to talk a little about content marketing. Okay, so content marketing now, like I said, everything is digital. Post COVID, we live in a very digital native world. Okay, where physical contact with your customer or prospective customer is very limited, which is why we need, the importance of content has gone very high. Because what happens now is, whatever you communicate with your audience, with your customers, is via content. Okay, it can be in any format. It can be an infographic, it can be a video, it can be a gif, it can be a textual content, a podcast, but it will be a content base. Okay, so when that particular content is used to manage your reputation, is used to create a positive vibe about your brand, or is used, that content is used to negate some negative news, some negative buzzword around your brand, that becomes your content, which helps you with your online reputation management. Okay, so yeah, coming to content, and now what kind of content can form a part of own media. So you have, let's say for a brand like Angel Broking. Okay, who would be an expert for us? For us, an expert would be our research analyst. Okay, who will create a research report that this is a stock which looks good on a lot of fundamental parameters, and probably if you're looking to invest your money in stock market, you can invest via, and you can buy this stock. So those become our experts, our research analysts, our advisors. So if we create a content piece from them and distribute it to the media, sorry, to our customer, you know so that becomes a very, very key proposition for me in managing my online reputation, because ultimately a customer is going to trust me on those calls, on those stocks. He is going to buy those stocks, and if they perform, he'll be happy. He'll become my customer. He'll become my loyalist, and he'll vouch for me on social media and other platforms also. Employee stories, my happy employees, on LinkedIn, platform like LinkedIn. Okay, or Glassdoor. If they, my employees are very happy with me, they go and talk about, how the brand is taking care of them, that becomes a very key tool for me to manage my online reputation. Similarly, with customer use stories, user generated content, these are part of your own media, because these are the assets which are owned by you. Now, while you do all of this, of course, you also brands, because it's a very cluttered space right now, digital. All the brands are vying for a very, very small space available digitally. Okay, so of course, while you do all the organic stuff through your customers, through your employees, through your experts, through your created platforms on social media, you also have to do some bit of paid media, wherein you have to spend money. You have to, tap into some promotional stuff. Say for example, Facebook sponsored post, sponsored tweet, fan acquisition, lead generation, or incentives. Basically, if you have, let's say, a brand, okay, so the recent example, I like to give of Cred. Rahul Dravid. I'm sure a lot of you would have seen that, and it's become very viral. It's become the talk of the town that Rahul Dravid, is appearing for cred and is doing this. Rahul Dravid ko gussa kyun aata hai? Basically, that ad. So Rahul Dravid is doing, the precisely the same thing. Is helping the brand manage its reputation, by establishing the trust factor. So why they chose a name like Rahul Dravid? Because Rahul Dravid, brings some sort of personality traits along with him, and the brand is hoping that those personality traits would reflect on the brand also. So trust, reliability, Rahul Dravid was considered to be one of the most reliable batsmen of his era. Okay, and the brand is hoping that with this kind of association, that reliability factor would also rub onto them, because Rahul Dravid is vouching for this brand, and which is what I spoke in the beginning, that reliability, is a key factor. Trust is a key factor. So these are some of the ways through which you define or you fine tune your ORM strategies. Okay, I hope that's clear for now. The what is online reputation management, and in case you have any doubt, if you want to revisit me on any particular topic, please put in the chat pod, and I'll revisit, or we can have a question and answer after the session. So I'll clear all the doubts then. So yeah, moving from what is online reputation to why do brands need it? You know, like I said, earlier it was a very physical kind of a setup. Now it's completely digital. Though I would need it in the times of crisis also, then probably the need for ORM would be much higher, much more significant. But it's not that I only need it when there's a crisis. Okay, ORM is very much needed when you are in a very happy space. Okay, when the brand is doing really well, because while you are in that zone where you're doing really well, you are acquiring a lot of customers. Your customers are very happy with the brand. You need to send that message out that I'm a very good brand. I'm serving my customers really well. My customers are very happy with me, and you can do that only when you start sharing those stories outside. You start sharing those stories through all those four media which I just spoke about. Okay, so that will also help you, because any business, even for that matter, angel broking, or let's say a pizza, Zomato, why do Zomato need to start talking about things like, I'm delivering very good service right now, and my delivery boys are right now, we do test, we take care of all those things, because they want to make sure that you are assured about what they are doing and the kind of service they are providing, and they are really making the customer happy, so that they can acquire a lot many customers. So the objective, why do brands need to do ORM, is a to maintain the leadership. Okay, if suppose angel broking today is India's fourth largest stock broking house, I want to make sure that I maintain at least, of course the aim would be to become the number one, but right now my objective is also to maintain this position. Okay, so which is why I also need to ensure that I, in order to maintain this position, I keep sending out this kind of stories so that I can acquire more customers. So while crisis management is very important, ORM also plays a key role in acquiring customers. Okay, it helps in business development. That's one key area which brands tend to miss out on. They usually don't associate ORM with business development, but this is where I really want a lot of you to focus on, that ORM can definitely help you in your business development, because think of it like, right now, for me, what is more important than a social proofing? If suppose on Zomato I see a 5-star rating for a particular restaurant, definitely I'm going to opt for that particular restaurant as compared to some other place which has 3.5 rating. We all of you, we live in a very social proofing kind of a setup, okay, which is where it becomes really important for us to establish the fact that yes, we are the best. So that becomes very very crucial objective of your ORM strategy. So whenever you get a chance to work on a ORM strategy, don't just think of it from a very passive point of view that it will help you negate all your negative words, but think aggressively, think actively on ORM part, and assume it to be something which will help you deliver business numbers also. So yes, brands need online reputation management to negate crisis, to build business, and to maintain the positive, share of voice. So these are the three key reasons primarily why you would need, online reputation management for your brand. Uh, Now, moving on to the third thing, which is who do you need it for? Why? I mean, we spoke about why do you need online reputation, what is online reputation, so who do you need it for? Okay, so if I think of at a broader level, okay, I need it for my customers. Agreed, you need it for your customer because you need to have have that kind of a you need to have a very very personal connect with your brand, with your customer. So you need for your customer, like I said before this, that it helps you with your business development. So definitely, you also need it for your prospective customers, people who you want your to become your customers. You need ORM for them also. Now, who else? Who's someone you whom you can target through your online reputation management exercise? If I talk about a brand like, let's say, Amity, okay, Amity, if they do their if they do their ORM exercise, if they start implementing it, so who are the kind of stakeholders they would want to target? Pretty simple, like, you know admissions karane hai, students hai, so obviously students probably. But no, Amity has an ecosystem in place. Okay, there are multiple stakeholders, and they would want to keep all of them, happy. They would want to keep a very positive, buzzing word about Amity for all their stakeholders. Now, who are these stakeholders? Say for example, Amity also hires a lot of professors, lecturers, guest lecturers, people like us who come and talk to the students. So yes, that's one big target audience. For a brand like Amity, that you need to target the prospective, professors who would be at some point, employees, basically prospective employees, not only student. If I say student is a customer for Amity, but no, they would also want to put in a positive words to the future employees, who would be at some point, if they are approached to become part of Amity, they should not be very hesitant. They should be have a very positive perception about the brand. Okay, who else? The regulators, for example, they should also have a very positive example, very positive perception about the brand. That okay, here's a university which is doing really well, so regulators become a very important. Then who else? Probably, investors, who have invested in a brand. Okay, they would also want, that reassurance that the brand they have invested in is the right investment. Okay, so whenever you think of online reputation management, don't have that myopic view. Don't have a very very single point of view that see, I'll give you one example, not in this context, in a different context. I was talking to the creative director of one of the leading agencies, ad agencies in India. Okay, and while we were discussing the target audience and everything, he asked me a question. He said, Vishesh, who do you think is Nestle's biggest competition? Okay, or Cadbury's biggest competition? Okay, so I started thinking about it, and the names which came to my mind were, other chocolate manufacturers, the other confectionaries. Then he told me, he said, no, the biggest competition for Nestle is, the guy who's making mithai sweets, Haldiram is Nestle's biggest competition. Bikaner wala is the biggest competition. Nukkad wala halwai, is the biggest competition for Nestle. Because, when you think of any good occasion, and you want to celebrate in India, in a country like India, the first thing which comes to your mind is not mithai, not chocolate, but mithai. Okay, so he gave me a very different perspective to look at the entire ecosystem. Okay, that why I brought this example is because whenever you think of any activities, say for example online reputation management, I've seen a lot of people talk about who would be their target audience, who would they want to capture, who would they want to talk to through this online reputation, and the only answer comes to my mind, their mind is customer. But my thing here is, whenever you think of managing your online reputation, think of a very consolidated strategy which includes all of these stakeholders. Say for example a brand like Angel Broking. Who would be my target audience through this exercise? If I'm doing my online reputation management, for me, definitely my existing customer is the key audience. Okay, I would want to assure him that yes, the company is doing well, you have invested in the right company, and so they become my key target audience. But are they my only target audience? No. The prospective customers, the guy living in a tier 2 tier 3 town, he is also my target audience. Okay, I'm a listed company now, so people who are investing in my stocks, they are also my target audience. Who else? A media person. Okay, because media is also, because like I mentioned earlier, if I have to maintain a positive vibe about my brand, I need to ensure that the same is reflected in stories in the media, so they are also my target audience. So I'm going to make sure that whatever efforts I do in my ORM, they are also a very key segment as part of my target audience. Then SEBI, Securities and Exchange Board of India, they are also a very key target audience. Exchanges, NSE, BSE, and my management. Okay, because the management is also the internal, I'm talking about the internal management, my CMD, my CEO, all these are the board of directors. So all of these are your target audience when you think of online reputation management. Okay, so I'm sure a lot of you would get a chance at some point in your life, in your careers, to basically work on these kind of strategies. always have a broader view and think of, online reputation as, taking all these stakeholders into account when you prepare your strategy, and not just, one set of audience, per se. So yeah, this is about who do you need it for, your target audience for online reputation management. Yeah, very interesting point, and this is the question which I find very, very, very interesting. At what point, at what when you should be planning your online reputation management. Okay, I meet a lot of people on, in my professional network, students who have just started out their career, my juniors from my college, who just joined some companies managing social media. At what level, brands or brand managers or social media planners should start planning for online reputation management? There's a view that if you're starting out, you don't need it, because रेपुटेशन ही नहीं है तो उसको मैनेज करके क्या करेंगे अभी. That's a very prevalent view that you need to reach a certain scale to basically kick in your ORM efforts. And I believe that's where a lot of us make a mistake, because online reputation starts from day one. The day you acquire your first customer, the day you have served your first client, the day someone has transacted with you for the first time. From that day onwards, you need to start planning for your online reputation management, because we all of us, we can't deny the fact that, and we have to accept that, now and going forward, building a digital first brand would be the need of the hour. If you want, then also. If you don't want to, then also you have to, because the way things are moving, and more so because of COVID, post-COVID scenario, where so much uncertainty is around. Brands are lockdowns are happening. Restrictions are in place. And we don't know by when all these things will be sorted out. Even if it gets sorted out, people are so used to a digital way of transactions that for them to again bringing them to a very physical kind of an infrastructure would become really difficult. Okay, so similarly, what happened at the time of demonetization? Okay, the time they demonetization happened. Post that, initially, of course, because all of us were forced, compelled to basically look at online payments, e-wallets. But even after the situation was brought to a very normal scenario, uh, you know even after that, people were very reluctant to then move to a very physical kind of a setup, primarily because they realize the comfort of online. There's no risk of with physical money. You are at comfort, you can do it from your home. You don't have to go to, suppose if I have to make payments for my electricity bill, I don't have to go to to the electrician or to the electricity company and pay the bills. I can do it from. So those are the kind of comfort levels which kicked in that digital payment era. Okay. Similarly, with the digital transactions, digital businesses. Okay. Now people are so used to this convenience, of buying everything online. Simple things like grocery. Your uh, the grofers of the worlds and other players have basically made you so comfortable that right now you want to do everything. You don't want to venture out. You just want an app in your phone where you can start transacting, start ordering whatever you need. So in this kind of setup, anyone who's thinking of building a brand, even if it's not a brand at this point in time, even if it's still at a very very starting stage, you should start planning for your ORM activities. If probably at a very very starting stage, those activities will not be in in a very glorified way. Those activities won't be at a scale which we discussed in the form of paid media, earned media, owned media. Probably not at that scale. Probably you'll just have a social media page. Probably you'll have just some testimonials from your customers. Suppose if you are running a restaurant chain, food delivery chain, probably you'll have some testimonials on, let's say, Google, on Zomato from your customers. The scale would vary. The scale of how much you plan for, how much you invest in your ORM efforts, those kind of activities would vary, but it has to start from day one. And see, ORM, when I say ORM, it sounds like a very, very, very glorified term. Okay, so especially the SMEs, small and medium enterprises, they get reluctant to adopt to it. They have a very, they create a wall that, it's something for big businesses. It's something which requires huge investment. It's something which probably I won't be able to afford. Probably I'm not trained for. Probably I'm not skilled for. And this roadblock is there, especially in the small and medium enterprises. So which is where you tomorrow's brand planners, social media experts, you have to remove that wall. You have to remove that roadblock. That online reputation management can only start with a single post on Facebook, can only start with a single testimonial on Google, can only start with just one small blog on through any blogger, which will hardly take about 5,000 and 10,000. Can only start with just one video with any influencer, micro influencer, the 8,000, 5,000 kind of money. So then probably you can build onto it basis on basis your requirement, how the process, how we'll get into the process also, in this discussion, that how the entire process of online reputation management starts. But at a broader level, yes, you need it from day one. You need it irrespective of your business size. Even if you're catering to 50 customer or 50,000, it's immaterial, because ultimately if you are in the business, you want your business to grow. You want people to talk about you in a very positive way. You want to have a very positive vibe around your business. And if you want all of that, you need to have online reputation management in place. Okay, so that's when should brands start planning for. So, moving on to the next bit, which is how. Okay, so we spoke about the 5 Ws. What is online reputation? Why do you need it? When do you need it? Who do you need it for? Or where do you need it? Now we'll be moving to the how part. So, we spoke about a lot of things. Online reputation management is not only crisis, the stakeholders who are. Now, how all of this is done? So I've tried to keep it very simple, in a very staggered manner. How you can actually execute your online reputation efforts. Okay, let's move to the first thing, which is when you start planning for your ORM activities. Okay, define the objectives. why do you want to do it? Okay, like I said, there are different stakeholders you need to cater to as part of your ORM efforts. There are different, target audiences you want to capture: your customers, prospective customer, regulators, you know, prospective employees who at some point would join the company, and investors and other people. Okay, so you need to define the objectives ORM. That is the first thing which you should be doing as part of your ORM effort. So what is being said, uh, which is basically a response to address customer queries, understand issues, and handhold. So any customer or any stakeholder, what is his or her query? Okay, what is the pain point? Understanding that pain point is very important. For you to devise a very effective ORM strategy. And every stakeholder, please remember this thing: every stakeholder will have a different pain point, so you need to have a address them very, very specifically in your ORM strategy. You can't just have one communication rolled out to all of them. So have a very pain point, pointed approach. Then the other thing you need to understand is how it is being said. Okay, because like I said, because of internet penetration, because of Reliance Geo coming into the picture, these cheap mobile phones, which are available, smartphones available at 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. So a lot of this customers are coming from tier 2, tier 3 cities, which earlier was not the case. Let's say someone, a guy coming from Gorakhpur in UP, or Udupi in Karnataka, Satara Sangli in Maharashtra, Navsari in Gujarat. These people, will not be very comfortable if you talk to them either in Hindi or English. So you have to have, uh, a conversation with them in their language, in a format which they understand. Okay. Another thing you need to be very aware about is what is the relationship with who is saying it. That is also very important, very important to take care of. So define the ORM objectives first, before you move on to the strategies. What is it that you want to achieve? You want to be the best for your customers, and you want to be a friend, you want to be a listener, you want to be, okay, don't worry, I'm here to solve your problem, I'll take care of all your requirements, whatever you need. Okay, so that's how you start with. Then you move to, from once you have the objectives, okay, then you move to the execution side of it. I know what is it that I want to achieve. Now the next thing for me to is, how can I execute what I want to achieve, what are the objectives. So I've staggered it in a three manner, depending on. So first is do the basics right. That is one problem which a lot of brands suffer from. What they do is, they want to do the big things, they want to do the better things, but they forget to do the basics right. First you need to do the hygiene. So basically you can also look at these things as hygiene, hub, and hero. Okay, hygiene is basically doing the basics right. For example, the moment someone sends a query, someone sends you a message on Twitter that my AC is not working, you quickly respond. You don't provide him the solution right now, but at least respond that I'm so sorry to hear about it, we'll be sending someone to your place right away. So these are the basic things which
Uh,
yeah,
uh,
Ritik.
uh, yeah, we're just running with, we just have a couple of more minutes. So if you
Sure,
could,
sure. We'll
it's
wrap it up in
already 12:27. Yeah, we just
yes,
have
yes,
to.
yes, sure. So those are the basic things which you need to ensure that you're doing right. Second is the winner thing, or the hub thing. Basically, you have made a mistake. So how do you want to rectify it? You want to rectify it by making him happy. Acknowledging your mistake. Giving him a small token of gesture, something. Then the wow factor. wow factor is basically, you do a PR effort, you create a knowledge series. Say for example, someone for a brand like Angel Broking, customer coming from tier 2, tier 3 city, he is not very sure how to place an order, and if I create a document which will help him place his first order, that is a wow factor for him, that he can do things. He'll feel empowered, that the brand has made him empowered. So which is where the wow factor comes into picture. Okay, so these are the three stages through which you can define your ORM strategies, the execution part. So like, yes, I have already explained the basics. You do the instant responses, do helpful conversation. Don't just, put a response for the sake of it. Do helpful conversation, which will really, assure him that yes, the brand will take care of him. Personalization. Instead of saying, hey, sorry to hear about it, say, hey, Ritika, sorry to hear about your problem. So that kind of, builds a personal, connect with your audience. The winner, small gestures, acknowledge your mistake, that yes, we have made a mistake, we'll take care of it, don't worry. Learning from your mistakes is, that don't, repeat the same mistakes. The wow factor, you know and these are some of the. So I thought, while I talk about a lot of stuff in ORM, I'll also present a real case scenario. So this is a real case scenario at Angel Broking. Whatever issues we get, what are the kind of issues we get? 25% basically brokerage related. Then you have service related issues. We have transaction related issues, that I transfer my funds but my account is not reflecting that amount. Then you have some technical, I'm trying to place a trade, it's not happening. Charges related, behavioral issue, that I wanted to speak to the customer care, but he did not speak to me in my preferred language. Then account related. So these are the that kind of basket we have created for our complaints, and we are trying to address each basket differently and not having a very broad level approach. We are having a very very pinpointed focus approach, that for each basket we will have a separate ORM strategy in place. And what we also do now is, we have this kind of response card to make our customer happy. So here Sachin, so just these are small things, which you can adopt, and these won't take much of your cost, much of your effort. But if a person, instead of hey, we'll get back to you with the query, instead of that, if we see something like this, he'll be more happy. He'll that kind of activity will leave a better impression on your customer. So yeah, these are some of the cards which we have created for our customers. Which, hey Sachin, oops, sorry, we goofed up. So we accept our mistake, and make sure that we don't repeat. And these are some of the different ways of responding to your customer. Suppose one customer, I remember we used to get a lot of queries around, I don't know how to place my first trade and when to place my first trade. I'm new to the market. So we created a video which spoke precisely about when you should be investing in market and how. So, and every time we used to get a query, we never said, thank you, we will get back to you. No, nothing. We simply pasted the link, that here's a link, you can watch this video. This video will help you with everything you need. So, and this kind of responses really, see, these are the same guys who came back to us saying, these videos really helped us. So those become your loyalist customer, your brand, ambassadors. Similarly, one more example, how and when to buy your first stock. So see, what I'm trying to say is, ORM don't have a very myopic view about ORM, that it has to be done at a broader level, it has to be done in a very standard procedure, SOP kind of a way. No, there's nothing SOP based when it comes to, it's all dynamic. And whenever you plan for ORM strategy, my key message for you is, remember, the person who's sitting on the other side of the table is a human. Probably he's dealing with you digitally, but in the end he is a human being, and he would want you to talk to him the way you talk to your friend, the way you talk to your family, the way you talk to your customer physically. So have those kind of conversation, have those kind of strategies, and I'm sure you'll be doing good. So yeah, that's it from my side. Happy to help. Any question, query, anything you have for me.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vishesh sir, for your like quite realistic examples and so much of wisdom from the market. We'll just run through the questions in another 30 seconds because students have to join a quick lecture also after this.
Sure.
And I'll just quickly run through the questions. Sir, how can should I really care about what people say on review sites of my company?
Yes, you should. You probably will not be responding to them, all of them, but you should care about what people are saying and where they are saying it, because it can have an adverse impact on your prospective customers. You may choose to not respond or react to them, but you should care. Yes.
Okay, another quick question. What can we as freshers do to build up a good reputation among the organization that we join? Any fast tips?
Yes, three quick things. A, read and learn how your customers are responding to it. Because before you start preparing your stuff, need to know that, especially for freshers, since it's coming from freshers. So learn how others in your category are doing it. And B, try and maintain a personal connect. Like I said, the other person who's sitting on the, writing to you, even if you're talking to him digitally, but in the end he is a human being. So have that personal connect. And thirdly, don't follow a very sop kind of a view. Have a very dynamic how you talk to your friends. Be preemptive, be proactive, and try to bring a smile to their faces. Yeah, that would really help.
All right. And one last question. Some people are afraid of having a bad reputation or getting bad reviews. And in that case, they stay offline. Is that a good idea according to you?
See, all of us are afraid of bad reputations. Unfortunately, with digital, anyone with a Twitter handle, ask me, anyone with a Twitter handle, even if he is not, that's the unfortunate part of, ORM. If a person is happy with you, he won't go and post immediately that, yes, you made my life better. But if a person is slightly unhappy, he'll take out, his phone, put a bad message for you on Twitter. So but you don't need to be afraid of these things. You need to tackle them. You need to, and you can only tackle negativity with positivity. You need to ensure, instead of being afraid, you need to ensure that you start uh, all the more, aggressively start pushing out the positive messages you have. That's the only way you can deal with this. You don't have to hide it, you don't have to, but make sure that the positive outweighs the negative stuff. That's the only way. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Vishay sir. I think that was quite an insightful session about how to build up your positive brand, work around with your stakeholders, your investors, how to have a productive startup, how to build up your online, reputation, pick up the wow factors. That was extensively explained by you, and taking up your learning experience. I think this was a very, very informative, enjoyable, and yes, a valuable session. Thank you so
Thank you
much
so
for
much,
taking out your
Ritika
time.
and Amity Management for having me over. I really hope that students can learn from it and become better brand planners in future. All the best.
Thank you so much. And on that note, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to our honorable and worthy director, ma'am, Dr. Shivali Dhingra, for giving us this platform to interact with industry veterans and leaders and learn so much from them.